Do you want to turn $70,000 into $58 million? Well, today we're learning from somebody that did exactly that. In 2017, Ted Weschler had $264 million in his Roth IRA account alone. And he didn't do it by using any secret rich people loopholes or anything like that. Everything he did could, at least in theory, have been done by somebody just like you. So let's learn how he did it and how he advises others to invest. If you're new, I'm the fireman, and I'm documenting my journey to financial freedom in my 20s. And to actually do that, investing is super important. But while I did study finance in college, I don't have the investing credentials or the track record of some others. So I'll never claim to be an expert investor myself. But given how important investing is to reach financial freedom, and given that my goal on this YouTube channel is to help other people reach that milestone, I do need to talk about it. That's why today, instead of telling you how I think you should invest, we're getting investing advice from a real certified expert. A few years ago, some important IRS documents were leaked, which showed the stunning fortunes that a few mega wealthy people had amassed in their tax protected retirement accounts. One of those people was Ted Weschler, now a deputy for Berkshire Hathaway, the famous investment company owned by Warren Buffett. The leak showed that in 2017, Ted Weschler had $264 million in his Roth IRA account. Now, that's obviously a lot of money, but there are a lot of people that have even more money than that. What's really impressive isn't the amount of money, it's how he got it. Ted very kindly did an interview with the Washington Post, which is where I first heard his story. Let me walk you through the highlights. In late 1989, Ted Weschler had built up just over $70,000 in his company sponsored traditional 401k, which, when he left the company, he converted to a traditional IRA. By the end of 2018, that same $70,000 had grown to $58 million, now in a Roth IRA account. His total Roth IRA was worth $264 million. By the way, note the conversion from a traditional IRA, which is pre tax money, to a Roth IRA, which is post tax money. That's because, in 2012, Ted Weschler paid the $29 million in tax necessary to convert his traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. What that means is he won't have to pay any more tax on that $264 million whenever he withdraws it. So, how did Ted Weschler get these incredible gains? Well, according to him, it's through careful stock selection, exceptional luck, and a multi decade time period. But importantly, he says it was not the result of any exclusionary tax strategies. In other words, anyone with a brokerage account could have done what he did. What makes this even crazier is that in late 1990, his portfolio dropped an insane 52%. So not only did he turn $70,000 into $58 million, he did it after a demoralizing loss. Ted Weschler gave a great quote on this. He said, "There is no such thing as a loss. It's just an unmonetized lesson." So many people panic when the market drops. Many even sell their investments, hoping to pull out their money before it drops even further. But this is often the worst possible strategy. The market drops very quickly in response to unforeseen circumstances or breaking news. It's called a correction for a reason. But after the quick adjustment, the market typically recovers relatively quickly. In the majority of years, the stock market finishes at a higher price than what it started. So, selling as the market's dropping often just ensures that you really do lose your money. By the time you invest again, the market may have already recovered. So, drops in the market aren't so bad. But for Ted Weschler to have become the multi-millionaire that he did, he earned some absolutely insane returns since that big drop in 1990. This actually brings us to another very important lesson. See, something that really stood out to me wasn't how well Ted Weschler's investments have done. Instead, it was that since 2013, Ted Weschler's investments haven't actually done that well. It was in 2013 that Ted Weschler joined Berkshire Hathaway, and since joining Berkshire Hathaway, Ted Weschler has actually underperformed against the market. Berkshire Hathaway invests enormous amounts of money, so the investments they're interested in aren't necessarily the best ones for a personal investor. Ted Weschler said that once there wasn't direct overlap between his day job and his personal investments, his retirement account got a lot less attention. The reason this is so incredibly important is it shows that even an immensely successful investor like Ted Weschler still can't always beat the market without devoting a ton of time and energy to it. That's why it's so crazy to me how many people I've met that, whether through arrogance, stupidity, or just lack of good financial education, think that they can beat the market in their spare time. If even Ted can't, it's just not realistic. And if you want to help me spread that message to more people, maybe hit the like button. So, how would Ted Weschler tell you to invest? Well, he says if you can't spend tons of time studying companies and industries, index funds are the answer. And a few extra words of wisdom: start early, maximize the employer match, invest 100% in equities, and ignore all the other noise. This is actually my own investing approach, so it's very validating to see somebody as accomplished as Ted Weschler give this exact same advice. Now, investing is super important, but to reach financial freedom by 30, like I'm trying to do, focusing on minimizing your expenses is actually much more important. Unfortunately, I've realized that 90% of people make budgets the wrong way, which I explored in last week's video. You can find that right here. If you want to see how to make budgets in a much more effective way and retire years, maybe even decades faster, check that video out next. I'll see you next time.